Jill Evans, Plaid MEP for Wales. You've just returned from a trip, a fact-finding mission really, in Gaza. You were there a year ago. How did it compare?
Well, I'm sorry to say that the scenes I saw a year ago were the scenes I saw last week. Very little had changed. The buildings that had been destroyed still lay there. The people who'd been made homeless were still homeless. The schools that have been destroyed by Israeli missiles were still in ruins. Very little had changed, and the reason for that, of course, is that with this ongoing siege, they can't import even basic items like cement, so literally they don't have the tools to rebuild.
You also were in Egypt as part of the trip, and you raised, I think, the case of the three women from Swansea who went to Gaza to deliver aid. What kind of response did you get, and were you satisfied with it?
No, I wasn't satisfied, and the members of parliament and ministers that we met in Egypt were very much defending their position. They had deported the three women from Swansea, amongst others, of course, and they justified that on the basis that people were causing trouble in Egypt, and they seemed to think that it was some kind of attack on them. Of course, the women from Swansea went with many other people to deliver much needed aid to Gaza, and they did that. They achieved the aim of doing that, and I informed the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee that I would be taking this further, that I would be writing to him and taking it up. He was actually familiar with the case of the three women, so he had been dealing with it personally, but I'm certainly not satisfied with the response that we had there.
What more can you do, though, to follow this up? You say you're going to write to him. What kind of response would you like him to provide? And maybe an apology is what you'd like?
Well, I believe so, because the women who went there were on a humanitarian mission and nothing else. And an apology, firstly, for suggesting that they were there for any other reason. And secondly, for the way in which they were treated. They were held in the airport without food or water or bedding, and then they were deported. That's a disgraceful way to treat women who were there to deliver aid and to help people who, of course, the Egyptian government know more than anyone are suffering terribly in Gaza. And the Egyptian authorities do have difficulties with the border. I think everyone would acknowledge that. But the way that they are reacting to that at the moment is totally unacceptable.